Picture this. You're at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's a long shift and you're tired. You got one of those little hand things that you keep, doing this with. Like you squeeze it. Little grip thing. And nobody's coming in. You're at the Dallas DFW airport, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And a lady walks in and she says to you, wow, you're a strong guy. You're pretty strong to be working here at Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
And I don't see a ring either.
I'm not married, ma'am.
Oh, interesting. A big, strong, single man.
Yeah.
And here's me, recently widowed for the 4th time.
Widowed for the 4th time?
Rich and ready to mingle.
Lady, can I ask you what car are you looking for?
Whatever has the biggest back seat.
Okay. Well, we have these Chevy Tahoes and there's of course, the minivans.
I'll take the Tahoe.
Okay.
But seriously, you're like 6'3". I mean, you must be like 240. You're built. You're a brick shit house, my man.
255.
How'd you end up at Enterprise Rent-A-Car?
All right, gentlemen. Your head coach has got some stuff to say to you. Come on. Boys.
You look handsome today, coach.
You look hot.
Thank you, fellas. Don't kiss up. You know what today is. Don't kiss ass.
We sure do, you ugly bastard.
Yeah.
Fuck. I like you.
We're very stupid. I mean, sir.
Say it with your chest if you're going to say it. Now listen. I ain't going to lie to you. Today's a tough day. There are 63 of you out here. The NFL only allows 53. Now, I personally wish I could keep y'all. Over these past 4 weeks, you boys have became my sons. I had 4 boys. Lost them all. They all married the same one back. And I don't know. So still, I feel like some foul plays. Definitely a fit.
Definitely, sir.
Shut up, boy.
Sorry, sir. I'm an amateur sleuth if you ever need anything. But,
What would you rather do, sleuth or score?
Score. I want to score.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to be sleuthing. You're cut, son.
Don't stick your neck out, dude. He clearly hasn't made the decisions yet. He's doing it based on what happens right now.
And then he gets to you. And the assistant coach speaks.
Son, we've appreciated your hard work out there this camp, but unfortunately, you said you had a dream to rent cars to people. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I've said that, but I just grew up watching that commercial where I wanted to drive the car that was all wrapped in wrapping paper.
Well,
up a hill. Feels dangerous.
Yeah, it is. My wife's actually involved in a charity to bring awareness about this, but we lose 3,000 people a month to that behavior. But son, would you rather rent cars or score?
Well, Coach, I'm a linebacker.
It can happen.
Yeah, score.
You know what? Fuck you. Rent those cars.
Let's go.
You're never gonna score.
Anyway.
Wow.
That's what he said to me.
He said you were never gonna score, huh?
Yeah. This has been a great hand job, by the way.
Hey, honey, were you able to get the car?
Sorry, I instinctually squeeze.
I let my wife handle all this sort of stuff.
And I do handle it. Honey, shouldn't you be finishing that life insurance policy I asked you to take out on yourself?
I was just wrapping it up. I had to call my football coach dad to ask him some.
Sorry again about all your brothers. They love standing too close to the edge of cliffs.
I just want to know what it was like. They must have really loved you, so I want to get in there too. I've always wanted to be where all my brothers were.
And soon you will. Do you mind if I finish jerking off this Enterprise employee?
Of course.
What do you say? You want to be in the queue for number 6?
No, no, I don't want to marry you.
Oh,
Well-
I thought you said this was a good hand job.
It is, but you know what was better? Being in the NFL. That was the best hand job you could ever get. Well, not like that, but it was better than sex. Being on that roster. I'm sorry. I'll just put in a
No, I'm
reservation
sorry.
here. How long? do
Tell you what, I feel bad for you now. What do you say we turn this handy into a half and half?
You know, it is my lunch break. It's 3 a.m. I work the night shift. You guys flying in pretty late, huh? Where you headed?
Puerto Cliffs.
Yeah, we're going to the cliffs.
Oh,
It's on the Baja Coast.
We haven't told a soul.
Yeah. Wait, shit. Now someone knows.
Lady, where'd you get that gun?
I keep it on me at all times.
Well, I know this is Dallas and everything, so I have one as well.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah, we all have guns. We're in Texas.
yeah. Listen, you guys, how about this? I'll give you a discount. Since you gave me a dismount, I'll give you a discount. You get the car for 5 you have 5-day reservation, and you can keep the car for 6 days
Whoa.
Oh,
at the price of 5.
that's really sweet of you. I actually think we're probably going to be back in about 2 days.
Oh, okay.
What?
Well, maybe not both of us.
Where are you going to be?
Honey, I'm going to push you off the cliff.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how you
can't
not
believe
getting
how you don't get this.
Also, you saw her giving me a hand job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, he's a Hancock.
I'm a Hancock. You do anything else, I get really mad.
His name's John, and people call him John Hancock.
Why? Because it's cuck day.
It's Cuck Day. We're monitoring all
Training
the
camp cuck day.
final Cuck decisions the coaches are making.
It's
Welcome to the Foosballs podcast, guys. We're here in our new digs, just ours. No one else is using this. This is our studio. Kevin, thanks for the sweet new
We
setup
are
here.
in the chef's kitchen for the first time.
Thanks for being here.
It is amazing to be here.
Ready to cook.
We're ready to cook. We are ready to cook. The stove is hot.
The season's here.
The water,
The water
boiling.
is salted and boiling.
The jello is jiggling.
The chicken's marinating.
What are some other things?
The eggs are
beans-
cooling.
We rinsed the beans even. We rinsed the rice. That's it, though. I'm Greg Galan. I'm joined by Ryan Meharry and Carl Tart.
Yes. Yes, you are.
We're
joined by
here.
us.
We're free.
Foosballs Season 2.
Season 2. Free from the oppressive yolk and delicious probiotic sodas of HeadGum. We're here. We're getting a little housekeeping up top. We were hoping to be able to announce the listener entries in the league this week. We're still
We're tied up
finishing-
in the courts.
Yeah, we're tied up in the courts. We're appealing. We got Trump's lawyers. We got Dershowitz, but he keeps getting tricked into sleeping with Borat cast members. So it's holding us up.
What happened to that girl? She had a real moment.
The actress?
Mia, she was in that Bodies movie. I think she's been in a couple things since then. But yeah, she really did have a moment there.
Yeah.
Balaklava. I am gonna butcher her name. I
yeah.
feel like I'm a
Maria Batolakova.
yeah. This is how it feels to be an NBA analyst on draft night, and you're like Pingus. But we are putting the finishing touches on our friends of the show who are going to be in the league, and then we'll be able to contact and finalize the listeners.
So hold on to those golden tickets, guys.
Hold on to them. I did my first draft on Sunday.
Yeah, and I did mine Saturday, so we've got a couple of drafts under our belts.
Carl, have you drafted
I
at
have
all?
not drafted yet. My first draft is this Saturday, I believe.
It's fun. I missed it. It is. I feel like
It was fun.
I play a lot of fantasy sports. I love it all. But a good old-fashioned football snake draft is still probably the most fun of all of it.
It really is.
You've done like 100 mocks.
So many mocks.
Yeah.
And
I've done a few now.
I did a mock draft the other night for a league that Carl just joined, salary cap league.
Ooh.
I did it when I was back in KC. I did it at like 11 o'clock at night, Saturday, random lobby of 15, 20 that start up every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And our commissioner, Josh Simpson, was in the same mock draft lobby as me.
For people who are listening who don't actually play fantasy, you need to understand how insane that is.
Yeah.
The odds of that are absolute. How did you recognize him? Does he have like an avatar or something?
He was the only person who wasn't just their first name. It was his first and last name. Or maybe that's because we were friends or something, or in the same league. It comes up that way, but it was pretty wild.
I need to do that. Because I need to figure out, because this is an auction draft that we're doing.
Yeah.
How much did you spend on your keepers? Because I think my keepers turned out to be $40.
So
$46.
So this league is interesting because it's a super flex league. Quarterback passing touchdowns they used to be 6 points, but we finally got it down to 5 as opposed to the standard 4. So quarterbacks,
Superflex already makes quarterbacks much more valuable. So you add in extra points for touchdowns, and it's just becoming a quarterback league.
Yeah, it's a bit much. So knocked it down to 5. So quarterbacks are reign supreme, and if you can get good ones, and so also in our league, if you whatever your keepers, we get 2. You have to add $5 to whatever they were either drafted for or picked up on waiver wires. So I had a tough decision to make because I have Garrett Wilson at only $10, and I believe his average draft price is something like 50 something. And I also
How's that a tough decision?
Huh?
Oh, you also had 2 more equally great opportunities at keepers?
Sort of. The tough one was I had Jordan Love at $11. So for as valuable as quarterbacks are, that was that was the one true slam dunk.
Yeah.
And then the decision came down to Garrett Wilson at 10 and Patrick Mahomes at 35.
That's tough, man. Yeah, I guess I've never played a super flex, but quarterbacks are that much more valuable than normal that you would keep 2
in this league,
instead of
especially
getting...
because of the passing touchdowns. And I believe Patrick Mahomes, I've kept him in this league now. This will be my last year I'm able to keep him. But on the open market, in an auction, he's going to go for 75.
Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it, I want to keep him and not have to then be paying 65 for somebody else,
Man, so I took over somebody's team in this league. And here's what sucks about let me just tell y'all this. Here's what sucks about doing a podcast with people you play against in fantasy who are also your most expert fantasy football friends because you can't hit them up. I'm like, damn, who should I keep? Let me hit up Ryan. Wait a minute, he's in this league. I can't hit him up. I guess I could have hit you up, Greg.
Yeah.
But
you made the right. I looked at the thing. You made the right call.
I think I did. Because so Jamar, I took over a team that I don't know what place this guy came in last year, but this team kind of sucks.
That's tough. Yeah.
And there's Jamar Chase is on the team, who I would have kept, of course, but I wasn't allowed to. And I'm like, why am I being punished? Because of this. But apparently, it's a rule.
He had already been kept twice or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You can only keep him 2 years in a row.
But I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't the dude from before. So I had to get rid of this guy. That left me with, receiver-wise, Chris Olave. Then Zay Flowers. Now, I looked up some rankings. Zay Flowers is pretty far down the list. I think he's going to be good.
I think he is too.
But he's pretty far down the list ranking-wise. Like not even top 20.
I think because he would have cost you $17, and I think that's probably what he'll go for. Yeah. So it's not the best, value.
Now Olave would have cost me
14,
and I had a hard. But also, I'm taking a new approach this year, and y'all have been talking running backs so hardcore this year that I've been paying attention to this because I'm usually a first round receiver guy. That's always been my strategy. I've won leagues like that. I've also come in last place with leagues like that. Running back is tough to come by right now. We're not in a good running back era but we are in a great receiver era.
There's three really, really. If you're in the first half of the first round, I want to come away with one of those running backs.
Yeah.
Bijan, CMC, or Brees. And if I'm in the back half, I kind of want to grab a wideout though, and then hope because I feel like you can get a good running back in the early second round, but after that,
I just was reading about. Have you heard of the zero running back strategy?
Yeah. I don't know. So are people doing that? I've also heard that
does not make sense. So basically, it's like kind of what you have done in the past, where it's just like I'm going to hit wide receiver super hard, wide receiver, quarterback, and tight ends. In my early rounds, and then not getting running back until the 7th and 8th round.
And you can still get decent guys back there. We'll talk about that some more, I'm sure.
But I guess just because there's so much variability with running backs and higher injury risk, wide receivers tend to be the safer bet. This year, I feel like, man, I'm in the draft that I did and in the mocks that I've done, it's like you can get like really good wide receivers pretty late.
Yeah, and that's why I decided, because I feel I did look and I was like, Chris Olave should be available at a later time. Like,
so who'd you keep?
I kept 2 running backs, Isaiah Pacheco and Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Pacheco at 23 and Taylor at 22.
At 22.
Yeah, those are good prices.
And I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a comeback year this year. All the experts say. I tried my best to listen to Sirius XM NFL, and it was just 20 minutes of ads.
I know. And I also get sick. Like, this is a real pot calling the kettle black thing here, but we're like a comedy podcast. When I turn into the actual fantasy football podcast and I find myself having to like 15 seconds, like skip through to get, I was like, I need the fucking advice.
Yeah.
I don't care about your weekend. Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. You guys are boring.
I do want to hear about Field Yates. Did you guys see Field Yates' thing? They were doing something.
Fantasy focus football, right?
Yes. I love Field Yates. He's just such a like kind of like, I don't want this to come off mean. He's just like a kind of dull. He's a piece of shit.
Like, I don't want this to come off mean, but he's kind of a little pussy.
No, I feel like I don't know what he does outside of fantasy football. I don't know if he would be like a good hang, but he's just like a pleasant, nice guy who knows everything. I like Field Yates. But he had to do something. They were doing some like thing on the beach, and it was like tackling drills, and it was how they were determining the draft order of one of his leagues, and he separated his shoulder and had to be hospitalized.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, welcome to your mid to late 30s.
Was Stephania Bell out there? Did she diagnose?
I'm sure she has an update on his timetable. But yeah, sorry, you were trying to listen to the pod.
I was trying to listen to the pod. I was trying to listen to Sirius XM, because I was like, what is the most like what can I listen to? It's not ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all said y'all listen to The Ringer, right? The Ringer NFL.
I like those guys. Yeah.
For NFL, like I don't listen to a whole lot of fantasy podcasts.
The Ringer Fantasy Football Pod is what I listen to. There's 3 guys and they're good.
Yeah, straight up football podcasts. I'll do The Ringer, but I like The Athletic, and I'm liking NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal.
Okay.
Yeah. For news.
I used to listen to Fantasy Focus when matter of fact, when I was away. When I was in Europe, I was listening to so many podcasts just to hear American accents. And
I still listen to it sometimes, but not as much since Matthew Berry left, to be honest.
How long has he been gone?
2-3 years.
Okay.
I still like it, and I like that Liz Loza who's on. They have a lot of good people on. Another thing that I've started to do for research, because I look at Twitter all the time, is that one good thing of recent Twitter is they have that bookmark feature. And it's like anytime I see a thread that comes across my feed that's about like fantasy advice, I just bookmark it. And then like 2 hours before I had my draft, I went and looked at because I don't bookmark anything else.
Oh, really?
So I went and it was like I had just created a feed of like fantasy takes and stats and stuff that I combed over before my draft. And it was helpful. Because in my draft, I like knowing ahead of time where I'm going to pick, because then you can mock accordingly. This is not one of those leagues. It was a league where you find out half an hour before. It's random.
Did you send us your roster?
I don't know if I did. I'll tell you what I did.
Tell us, and I want to see it.
So I went.
Pull that shit out.
I whip it out.
Whip it out, dude.
I went last. I picked at the turn, and I was really bummed. But I'll tell you, I didn't mind it at first, because, like, if you can't get one of those top running backs, I think that the fall off is mid round 2. So I like picking
For running back?
for everything.
Right.
For it, there's just like a clear like, okay, I'm not nearly as excited about these guys except for the Devon Achans of the world. So I went 12-13. I got Garrett Wilson and Jahmyr Gibbs, a couple of young guys, and then at 36 I got Jalen Waddle, which I felt really good about.
This team is great.
I think this is a good team. And then at
Like Waddle's
30,
a little beat up right now, but you feel like
he's going to be fine.
Yeah, and you feel like you've got some nice depth. This isn't a keeper league. This is just
Not a keeper league, simple redraft. So 36 and then 37, a guy that had the reason I kind of broke from my strategy is I like DJ Moore and he had fallen a little bit, so I grabbed him too. Oh, and also I should say about this league, it's full PPR and there's an extra wideout. So wideouts are really important. That's why I grabbed 3 in my first 4 picks.
Interesting.
And then after that, I grabbed Kincaid and Pickens. So I waited on running backs here. So after
For running back
Gibbs,
two.
after Gibbs, my running back 2 situation is either Jalen Warren, Tajay Spears, who I think could break out for the Titans. The only problem is I also think Tony Pollard he's in that second year after the injury thing.
Yeah.
It's like what I'm calling the Ronald Acuna thing. He tears his ACL the year he comes back. He's kind of but that like next fully healthy year, he was unstoppable. And that this year is Breece Hall and Tony Pollard, and I'm sure some others.
Jonathan Taylor too.
Jonathan Taylor, yeah. And then I said we were going to talk about like late round running back flyers. My favorite, especially on Yahoo, because he's ranked like 40 spots lower on Yahoo than on ESPN. J.K. Dobbins. He's been really good whenever he plays.
Yeah, if he can play.
But here's the thing, he's going after in Yahoo's like 148. So if you draft him in like the 120s and he plays a few games, that's like it's the odds of that guy sticking on your roster anyway are slim. His upside is huge. If he plays 8 games, you're through the moon.
You might as well take a swing on one of those Chargers running backs because they've they're going to run. They've committed to it. They've really upgraded the offensive line. If it's going to be Edwards, Dobbins, I'm hearing a lot of people all of a sudden really like this Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, the rookie. I think that could be this year's, like how last year I was like, get one of those Dolphins running backs.
Yeah.
And that's still true. But this year it's get one of those Chargers running backs, and they're all going after pick 100. Snag one. Harbaugh's going to run. Dobbins is still only 25.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
The knees of a 64-year-old, but
and I also grabbed Jalen Wright, who is the handcuff if either Achane or Mostert go down. I like to take a flyer on him. I took a flyer on Ladd McConkey. I almost got McConkey and Palmer because it's like they're not going to pass a ton, but Herbert is good, and one of those guys
should have time to throw for really the first time in his career. So
I need to do some more research on the late round wide receiver flyers. I got this guy, Luke McCaffrey, I don't know much about, but I think it's fun to say that I pulled off Gibbs, Wilson, and McCaffrey. And people go, what? And then I go, well, it's Luke McCaffrey.
You got a McCaffrey.
Yeah, I got a McCaffrey. So
Ed's lesser son.
I feel pretty good about this draft. I will say, like, a thing that I've also noticed drafting is Dalton Kincaid is like one of the middle tight ends. I'm kind of out on taking the elite tight ends right now.
Really? I'm kind of flipped a little bit.
Because my thinking is that there's more good fantasy tight ends than there have been in a long time. So like I heard an interesting stat that Travis Kelce last year was still the highest tight end in fantasy points per game.
Right.
Still number 1. But that there were like 34 or something other guys who at other positions who scored more than Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And that's normal. But the reason you used to still want Travis Kelce at all costs is because of the like relative position thing where like the 4th tight end would be off a fucking cliff from Travis Kelce. And I just don't think that's true anymore in a way that I don't know if I want to use a 3rd round pick on a tight end.
I think there's like I want to see the rankings, but it's a pretty big, I think there's a pretty big drop off. Like you get into that Dalton Schultz
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I don't like. I'm guessing every week if I'm getting stuck with those. I mean, even after Trey McBride, it gets a little dicey. Like, I don't know if I trust Dalton Kincaid, and then I'll avoid Kyle Pitts this year like the fucking plague, just because I've been down that road one too many times.
But all right, so here's what it is: Kelsey, Laporta, is like tier 1. McBride is tier 2.
Yeah,
and then you have Andrews and Kittle, who are like solid. I think barring injury, neither one of them is going to not be a top 10 guy.
Yeah,
and then Kincaid, Pitts are chancier. And then I think I'd be happy if I got Evan Engram, and he's the 8th ranked one.
Yeah.
I'd be happy if I got Jake Ferguson. His like red zone targets were so crazy.
Yeah,
he's on the upshot, so he's 9, and Njoku is 10. I'd be happy with him. I'd be happy with any of those 10 guys.
I feel like if the guys after those top 4, if they fall a little bit, because then to your point, like you can really wait, because is there that big of a difference between Pat Freiermuth and Dallas Goedert? Like, I don't think so.
No, yeah.
And then even if you want to go down even further, so one guy that I got late in, I'll go over my draft that I had over the weekend, so I'm very proud of it. I'm big on Isaiah Likely. He's super, super like 2-something as far as 258 overall. And I think Mark Andrews is a little beat up. Feels like that's kind of becoming a bit of a thing with him. And Isaiah Likely finished the season last year really hot. I think he could be at the very least, their tight end 1, but I think he could also be like a top 10 tight end.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I guess to hammer in my point, and then I want to hear about your draft, Ryan. To explain it in relative to quarterback terms, if you look at the ADP, it's basically like you could have Laporta or Kelsey and Jared Goff, or you could have David Njoku or Jake Ferguson and Josh Allen. And I feel like I would take the second option, but you think you would take the first? I don't think it's crazy either way, because again, Goff is solid. But
yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think you can go either way. Like I trust your instincts on that. It's especially just kind of how it all shakes out. Quarterback is a weird one this year, just because we jump off a real cliff in the middle rounds. Like, guys like Justin Herbert are going like in the 12th, 13th, 14th round. So you can get a starting. If you don't like hit on one of those top quarterbacks early, like just hang out.
I think if you don't get I like the middle quarterbacks of like Richardson and Kyler Murray. Although the only thing is like Kyler Murray was so disrespected in the rankings, but now everyone's talked about it so much that he's like 50 now. Like I heard a podcast, or I saw a video that was like telling you what to do when you picked at the turn, and it was like in the 6th round, grab Kyler Murray, and I was like, I couldn't have grabbed him in the 4th.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck.
Well, I could have, because I had the very first pick in the 4th, but it was like I would have had to reach. It was a bad position to get Kyler. But I think if you don't get like one of the top like 6 guys, I just wound up waiting and got Trevor Lawrence or like Tua or guys. Unless people start grabbing their second QBs and fuck you over.
How many? Yeah, do you only keep one QB on your roster usually, right?
I'm starting the season with one QB, typically. Unless I have like, if I had grabbed like Lamar or Hurts or I don't know, someone who runs a lot, and I think Mike is more likely to get hurt, even Josh Allen, like then I might grab an insurance one, but I'm definitely still waiting until the very end to do that.
Yeah. It's a 12-team league?
This is a 12-team league.
Nice.
So let's hear your roster, Ryan.
So this is a 3-team keeper league, 14 teams. And so my keepers going into the draft a few days before were Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, and Jamar Chase, which is a pretty sick three keepers to have.
I mean, in some drafts, those 3 guys would all be in the top 5.
Yeah. But I got to thinking, I'm a little wary of 49ers guys right now, and McCaffrey's already a little beat up, and we are able to trade draft picks in this league. So I thought maybe now would be a good time to sell McCaffrey. And so I traded McCaffrey and a 6th round pick to another team for Devon Achane and a 4th round pick.
Love it.
And then I was able to also flip Sam Laporta for a 5th round pick because I wasn't going to be able to keep him. So I started off with Brees Hall, Devon Achane, and Jamar Chase, plus 2 4th round picks and 2 5th round picks. No 6th. So I ended up with Kyler Murray, Brees Hall, Achane, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Trey McBride, Rashee Rice, Cowboys defense, and then riding the pine, Jaden Reed, Jace Brown, Jerome Ford, Jalen Wright, Herbert, and Isaiah Likely was my Mr. Irrelevant.
Damn.
That's if you don't win that league, I'll be a little shocked.
Isaiah Likely on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome.
Who's your starting quarterback? Patrick Mahomes?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
You starting him over Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I think get the running yards.
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, I think especially with it's always
2 words. Lad McConkey.
I got 2 words to say to you about that. Lad McConkey. You're not going to start Justin Herbert.
Why don't you introduce you to my 2 sons, Lad and McConkey? It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's good, clean fun. No one gets
So
hurt.
what was the naming process of your 2 sons? Lad? All right, a boy.
Yeah.
McConkey.
It's a family name. My great-grandfather's fist was named that.
Like S.C. Johnson and Wax.
I do feel like Lad McConkey is going to lead to some good fantasy team names this year for sure.
Oh, yeah. Is that our segue?
Is that my segue?
Lad my cock tease.
That's solid. That's solid. Guys, I had some...
Hey, for the family fantasy football league, do you think you could maybe change your team name?
This lad's a cock tease.
Getting it, I would love to be like the boyfriend who gets into a fantasy league of a family and just talks mad shit. Incredible.
Before you get into your presentation,
Yes.
should we talk a little bit about our own personal favorite teams? Some of the cuts that we saw across the league that was surprising. And
Yeah, Ryan's
and-
team had a big one.
yeah,
And yours did
had
too.
some interesting cuts.
I've seen so many jokes about the Dennis Allen hating Kendre Miller. What's going on there?
Kendre Miller is not healthy. He's starting the season off on IR. But the one that you texted, at first I thought it was Kendre Miller, but that was because I was listening to a damn podcast that it was that guy's. I didn't realize it until he was like, so this is what I would do if I was the GM.
Oh,
Man, get the hell out of here. So it's Jonathan Abram.
Oh, yeah.
He was slated to start and ended up getting cut.
Right.
And I think that's because he was slated to start next to Tyrann Mathieu at safety.
Former 1st round pick.
Yeah. And so he's cut. But also what hurt me was they cut my man Samson Nakua.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, he had that awesome play too.
Yeah.
He almost did a kick 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he'd just gotten in, he would have made the team.
The Nasus Nakua. That's what they call it.
Yeah, that's great.
And then also.
But that's unfair because he's not on the same team. Like if the Rams gave him a job, then I think it'd be more fair to call
honestly,
him.
they probably will. I feel like he's gonna get picked up by somebody because he had a good preseason, and then they cut Equinemius too.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, they could start a whole team with brothers.
yeah.
Yeah. There weren't a ton of notable ones for the Steelers. There was this fullback that everyone was kind of getting into. I can't even remember his name, but the big one I laughed when I was texting you and James when I was watching the Steelers preseason game, and I said, "Do you remember when I was like, I think I just watched someone lose his job in real time?"
Yeah.
And he did. Quez Watkins, very fast, but like he muffed a punt, and then they cut right to Tomlin, and he just had this look on his face, and I was like, "Oh, my brother,
God, that's gotta
you are
hurt."
gone."
Yeah.
Like,
Disappointing Mike Tomlin might be probably got to be like one of the worst feelings in the world.
especially if you have any kind of daddy issues.
Yeah.
I don't think guys
Yeah.
with daddy issues can play for the Steelers. So Kendre Miller, did he survive or is he gone?
Kendre's on IR.
He's on. Oh, that's right. You don't have to cut him. He's on IR. Ryan,
IR
the
slated to return.
big news out of KC.
Yes.
Well, your new white running back made the team. with the most perfect white running back name I've ever heard, which is
Carson Steele.
Carson Steele.
incredible. Like, if you were writing a John Grisham novel and you named the hero that, John Grisham would be like, that's a little bit much.
I'm excited for Carson Steele. I actually think he's going to contribute. And if you're in a deep fantasy league, he might be worth a little bit of a flyer because I could see him being a guy that ends up being the number 2 running back. And I think he's probably the best blocking back that we have. So, and getting some fullback, some goal line carries. He's going to play running back and fullback.
So another part of the reason why people are expecting the Pacheco breakout this year, McKinnon is gone, right?
McKinnon is gone.
Is CEH still there?
He's back. So I think they cut Deneric Prince, who I think they were having some high hopes for that he could be maybe a McKinnon replacement, but it hasn't worked out. So I think they're going to keep 2 like straight up running backs and then Carson Steele as a fullback / running back.
Yeah, I think he could easily get the second most carries on that team.
Steele?
Yeah, totally.
I think he's going to be a first down machine.
But then someone didn't make the roster.
And that someone is Super Bowl hero and always hilarious Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Will someone pick him up? Someone will pick him up, right?
He gotta.
Yeah.
He's
good.
There's when he has
Like, what
the
if the
ball in his
Ravens
hands.
got him?
He's great.
I guess he kind of has a lot of overlap with Zay Flowers, but if Zay Flowers got hurt and the Ravens grabbed him, I'd pick him up in fantasy.
Did
Honestly,
the rugby guy get any run in the preseason?
Nah, he was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. He looked lost. But I think they might put him on the practice squad and just kind of develop him because they gave him some money. So I think he's a project. He'll be around for a minute. The thing I'm still trying to wrap my head around with the Chiefs is bringing back Juju.
I know. The way I found that out was I was looking at my feed and it was like Patrick Mahomes just got himself a weapon, and it was like the 97-yard touchdown where, like, remember Ben? They're on their own 3, and Ben immediately gets pass rush, and he's just like falling backwards. He just chucks it, and Juju made
such a sick play,
such an awesome play.
It was 100 years ago.
Yeah, it was, especially in Juju years.
Yeah.
That was why are they doing that?
I don't know if it means that they're either expecting the Rashee Rice suspension to happen or if Hollywood Brown is going to be out a little bit longer, because it doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean, obviously, Juju's not going to be able to play special teams. His knee just won't be able to hold up. And so they cut Kadarius Toney, they cut Justin Ross, and Nico Remigio. So those were kind of guys that had way more special teams juice, especially Remigio and Ross. So now,
Remigio.
great name.
Yeah, I saw Justin Ross. He's another one of those insane Clemson guys that were all there in a short amount of time.
He played pretty well during the preseason. I thought he was going to make it before this Juju signing. So somehow Sky Moore is still on the team. I would have rather have kept Toney. Toney, you can see something that he does well. Sky Moore doesn't do anything well. He's so bad. I kind of hate him.
Is he worse than that? Is he worse than the Chargers receiver,
Quentin Johnson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Quentin Johnson will get open to drop a pass.
Yeah.
Like, Sky Moore is not open. What do you guys make of all the clips going around about how Debo can't get any separation?
I did see that. I saw it on
that.
TikTok that was breaking it down. It was just like
he made an incredible catch, but it was kind of notable that he wasn't getting any space.
He was lined up against like a 4th-string corner that probably didn't make the team.
Yeah,
and that guy was just like, I'm
blanking.
Like, you're not going anywhere.
And those 49ers, God, the vibe's not good, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just saying there were what? You sent over like $40 million over the cap?
For next year, yeah. And they need to re-sign Purdy and
now Trent Williams is holding out?
Is he? Oh, yes, he is. His people put out a statement where they highlighted the fact that last year when Purdy was playing, when Trent Williams was playing, his touchdown to interceptions was 28-2. And when Trent Williams was out, it was 3-9.
Yeah, he is the best player on the team.
Yeah.
And he should be paid as such.
He's the best player on a team that includes like the best running back in the league, the best linebacker in the league.
The defensive player of the year winner.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. They might be the team that falls off a little this year if they can't keep all those guys happy.
And I think that division's going to be kind of tough.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into our season predictions next week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I got some hot takes brewing. I'm excited.
I don't. All right.
All right. You guys ready for this presentation?
Yes.
Kevin, can we pull up the PowerPoint? So look, I'm on hiatus and I don't have a lot to do. And I spent some time on this last night.
Greg Gallant presents.
Yeah. Brothy pointed out that Greg Gallant Presents is bigger than any of the other words on here. Whatever.
You can barely read the Foosballs podcast.
Who cares? Greg Gallant Presents. Guys, I was having some fun naming teams this year. Naming teams is always one of my favorite parts. As a comedy writer who loves puns, this is the player pun team name guide. Let's hit that first slide, Kevin. So say your first pick is a lot of people are going to want to name their teams after the first, like one of their elite guys, right?
Yeah.
So up. So say you got CeeDee Lamb.
A few minutes in, and Greg's already exposing us to hardcore pornography.
Say you got CeeDee Lamb. Now, Lamb, all the Lamb puns have been done. All the CD, like compact disc puns have been done. So what I'm going to go with here is CDSM. A play on BDSM. But you got to spell it like this. CEEDEEESSEMM. To really drive it home. To really drive it home.
You're too good at this. Fucking crazy.
All right. So let's go to the next slide here. Say you got...
This is a hilarious picture.
Yeah.
Photoshopping these was really fun. Say you got Jahmyr Gibbs, right? He might be one of your top two guys. He's my 13th pick in the league. A lot of the Gibbs stuff has been done. I've seen a lot of Something Gotta Gibbs. I think, Ryan, you had They Call Me Mr. Gibbs last year. So how are we finding a new angle on this? And I think I'm going to take a look off Jahmyr and go with Jamiroquai. This was actually from Josh Corey. I got to give him credit for this one.
Good, Josh. That's a good one.
And also, this was fun because I forgot what Jamiroquai looked like, and it was fun to just remember. I think for some reason, always used to get him confused with D'Angelo, and there couldn't be two more different dudes.
Virtual insanity.
So let's take a look at the next one here. Say you got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And I would love to in the first round. It's sometimes guys are tough because their names are too dull, and Amon-Ra St. Brown almost has the
exact opposite
problem. There's so many guys last name Brown, but St. Brown gives you a little more to work with. But this one I'm going with St. Brown versus St. Bonaventure.
Wait a minute. Now, here's the issue that I have, because I was trying to go through some names yesterday I haven't drafted yet, but I was going through some names. Are there rules to this? And the rules that I want to know, because does the player have to be on your team?
I think so. I think it should be a guy who's. I think if you got one, you really got to get off before the draft. You can do whatever you want, but then if you don't have the guy, I think you. I mean, look, do whatever you want. There's no rules. I think it's more fun.
It makes it more fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like to take in my roster after the draft and be like, okay, what am I going to do here?
Yeah, I think the only real rule is max character limit.
Yes, which I think this violates.
Yeah, because there's 30, 25.
Oh, is it just 25?
It's 25.
I got up that. You should be able to do just like full short stories.
Oh, I should say I am doing through my wife, the Simpsons staff is doing a guillotine league, and I want to talk more about that next week because it's super fun. But I had to come up with a guillotine league team name, so I went with Marie Antoinette Etienne.
Oh, that's great.
That's fucking good.
Yeah, man.
But now, by my own rules, I have to get Travis Etienne in order to do it. Let's go to the next slide here. Jamar Chase. Now, Chase, all the Chase stuff has been done and done and done. So I wanted to do something with Jamar here. I did Aladdin 2, The Return of Jamar, which also might be a little long too. But
I think that wouldn't work.
It also works too because he had a bad year last year, and this is The Return of Jamar. Okay, that works on a on a deeper level here.
The return of Jamar could be enough.
Yeah, I think people get it. Derrick Henry. Okay, so when I say some guys are tough because their names are too boring, Derrick Henry
that's tough.
Is one of the toughest in the league. And this one I'm not super happy about. But what I went with was D. Henry like O. Henry. And the parenthetical is part of the name.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Having a parenthetical that explains it, I think, bails you
It's very
out.
funny. Yeah.
Even Steph Curry misses something.
Yeah. So next we have these wonky slideshows. Okay, so Breece Hall, I'm really high on him. And I'm also high on him for the naming possibilities, too.
There's a lot of good stuff.
A lot of great stuff to do. So if you want to go topical, you can go Breece Fire now. And I think it's a strong message. And he works with the color scheme of the flag.
It's very good.
But if you don't want to go political, you can.
If you feel the opposite of this,
yeah. If you like what's happening, you can go with Anatomy of a Hall, which is also what you can refer to your draft report card as, but like Anatomy of an HAU.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Now, Anatomy of a Fall brings me in another good point, which is that 2 ways to find good new fantasy team names are new players, but there's also new cultural references. So this is a movie that just became famous in the last year.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff we can do with the new movies here. Like if you got DJ Moore, you can be more things.
What's that movie called?
Poor things.
Poor thing. Okay.
So this also would probably work for Sam Laporta. You could be La Poor Things, but if you don't want to do that, I also had Abre Laporta.
Oh my God.
Which works, I think, because of the upside down exclamation point at the beginning. And to keep it on the movies, I use the door scene from The Godfather. Back to movies. If you've got Kyler Murray, now you can do Murriosa, a Mad Max saga, and just picture his little ass scurrying around the desert. If you've got, what else? Zay Flowers, obviously now you can be Killers of Zay Flowers' Moon. Yeah. Obviously, if you've got Brock Bowers, it's Killers of the Bowers Moon. What else here? Okay, so Zach Charbonnet. The odds of him being one of your key guys aren't as likely, but if he were, you could do Charbonnet.
Great.
Were you going to guess? Did you have that one guessed?
No, not at all. Greg, none.
None of these.
Okay, what else do we got? Oh, so not as new of a movie, but I got to give credit. Andrew Lind is who I'm up against in one of my leagues, and he has the Calvinted Mr. Ridley, which
great.
Uses every part of the buffalo.
Yeah.
I think it's really brilliant. The ones where people, that's why Dwayne Bowe was a legend. Like somewhere over the Dwayne Bowe connection. Using both was incredible. Credit to Andrew.
You just don't think like this. And I was trying my best yesterday.
I'm terrible at it.
I just love puns, you guys. This one is also not me.
This probably took you like 20 minutes. It's probably the PowerPoint was the harder
took way long. This is Josh Corey one that uses 2 players, which I love. So and this is a reasonably good team build. Kyron Williams, who we haven't talked about as much because he's kind of dull, but he's going like early second round. He was like running back 3 last year, or 2 even.
Yeah, he was good.
And Anthony Richardson. So if you had both of these guys, you could hit him with Get Richardson or Die Kyron. Shout out to Josh for that.
That's great.
I really liked that one. Next. Oh, so as I said, in the team that I just had, Jalen Waddle was my 3rd guy, and I went to my wife, Rothy, and said, like, do you have any ideas for what to do? And she hit me with America's Next Top Waddle, which I feel like I haven't seen done. It's not like a new player or a new cultural reference.
It's what's craziest about these is you thinking of these and nobody else has thought of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, maybe this one was Brothy, but maybe some of these have been done.
I don't think anyone's thought of D. Henry like O. Henry.
Probably not. I think.
Also, another music one for Charbonnet, Marvin Gaye and Charbonnet.
Oh, there's something there. Yeah. Jordan. Oh, this is another Josh one. This is the last Josh one, I swear. But he hit me with this, which I love, which is Ashley Addison. And it works. He also pointed out it works great with Don't Get Caught because he got caught
with the DUI.
With the DUI and because he doesn't get a ton of receptions. He's more of a big play threat. Next up. Oh, so Cooper Cup. So I don't know if you guys are going to get this one, but let's see it. Pup Cup, which is the little foam thing they will give your dog at Starbucks.
Yeah.
But the reason I like about this is that when he inevitably gets hurt, you can change it to Pup Cup for physically unable to perform.
Always thinking 2 steps ahead.
Back to the first round, though. Justin Jefferson, what are we doing with him this year? I'm hitting you with Justin Jeffrey Epstein.
That's silly.
We can move off.
And so I like that. Yeah, for your team logo, you'll just use the Google Maps of the Epstein Island.
So enough of that, though. We go back to Christian McCaffrey. If you got McCaffrey, what am I going with? McCaffrey Epstein. Next, Marvin Harris Jr., probably the most promising rookie wideout we've seen in a long time, right?
Yeah.
And if you get him, I'm going with Marvy Weinstein.
Oh my God.
Now this one's a little tough.
Next,
If I see that, I'm like, Marvy.
Marvy Weinstein. I'll go back to O. Henry with that one.
No. They all make great sense. Like if I get Garrett Wilson, I'm going Garrett Epstein. And then next, now this is a bit of a stretch because he's retired. Alshon Jeffrey. If you do scoop up Alshon Jeffrey hoping he gets signed, then I'm going to hit him with Alshon And that was the first ever Greg Hunt Play Foosballs podcast fantasy team name player pun guy.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Beautifully done. Guys, if you
Clements.
if you have some, send them in too.
Yeah, please send yours. I debated between that and Alshonda Rhymes, and I just thought for our audience this would hit harder.
Yeah.
Boy, you really I mean, you got me. I did not think I thought you were just gonna say Alshon Jeffrey and be like, you figure it out. But that is a great, you guys.
Great turn.
This is an Emmy Award winning television right here.
This is our submission.
This is how you get it. This is how you understand. This is how you do it. Listen, I need to tell y'all right now. First of all, everybody who's listening to this, you need to understand something. You think you're funny. You're not.
Trust me, we've read all the email submissions. Yeah. You're not.
This is funny. Greg Gallant is funny.
Shucks.
That's comedy for your ass.
An Emmy Award eligible comedy writer.
Now me, I get by on wearing gray sweats on stage. That's why people like me.
Whereas I'm known for my fashion sense. I'll be honest. Once I came up with the Epstein run, everything else was just a setup. I was like, I just have to get to that. And I'm glad I closed with it.
Great. Bravo.
Let us know what you guys are doing. Oh, actually, on that note, do you have the show email? We did ask for
I got it right here.
Drunk fan stories, and I got a pretty good one. Did you read that?
I want to read that. You read my mind. I do want to read this.
Did you read this, Carl?
No.
This is good.
Okay, so this is from Jake. He says, hey guys, October 2013, Sunday Night Football. Packers play the Vikings at the Metrodome for the last time before it gets torn down. It's an almost 50-50 split of fans. Vikings get out to an early lead with a 109-yard return from Cordero Patterson, but the Packers end up leading by 24 in the fourth. It's mostly Packers fans in the stands at this point, and a very drunk Vikings fan begins flipping off our section and yelling inaudibly. He starts walking down the stairs, trips, and rolls about 10 rows to the flat when the stairs split above to concourse entrance. He stands up, but his pants are around his ankles, full-ass booty cheeks on display. He goes to walk down the next set of stairs, trips on his pants, and falls down them.
Incredible.
Go Pack Go, Brett Favre dies a Viking.
Incredible. But
More of those, please.
Here's something that I'm reading between the lines on this, is that the guy had a big hog.
Yeah.
Because his pants fell down, his ass cheeks are out. So his dick is out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if it was small, you'd include it in the story.
I think that is funny.
It's like, you remember that when there was like those researchers a few years ago that were like, oh, Hitler had a micro penis. And everyone was like, this really feels like they found out Hitler had a huge hog and you're trying to go the other way.
Well, what if he just, I mean, like, would you not mention it if he had a huge hog? Full ass booty
True.
cheeks on display plus a huge hog.
But is the fan who wrote in is
Jake, you got to fill us in here. What was the hog like?
well, Jake's a Packers fan, right? And this is a Vikings fan. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying I think
And-
if he had a huge hog,
yeah.
you would omit that.
And be
fact.
objective. You can just say.
Did you see hog?
And what
Was it
what
huge?
was he working with?
Was it huge? That was a little similar
Was
to
it huge?
to the story. It was a huge hog.
The Vikings fan, the drunk Vikings fan,
Do it
had a
again.
huge hog.
Yeah,
Do your Trump impression. I
If
just did a whole rant about how funny you are.
If the cheeks are out, you know the hog is out. People don't want to talk about it. They're not talking about it because it was huge. It was. I do the drum impression, but I don't say huge, which is like the one fucking thing anyone can do.
Could the boat collapse under its own weight?
The shark of the battery.
The great white shark about 10 feet away.
The late great.
The late great Hannibal Lecter.
Who's the football version? The late great Willie Beeman. Steaming Willie Beeman.
He died.
Not dead or real.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Desmond Ritter was waived.
Yeah.
Saw that. Tough start.
Let's start for those 2022 quarterbacks, man.
That's like Ritter.
in the USFL.
Off you go.
Oh, can we talk about this? Have you guys seen the stuff where the USA flag football team that's gonna, because flag football is gonna be in the Olympics in 28.
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems like a throw America a bone thing
Yeah.
for hosting. And the flag football quarterback came out and said, like,
How
I think it's a
disrespectful.
little rude that the NFL players are just going to assume that they would get spots on the team.
Yeah.
And he's getting clowned for that a lot. Have you seen the clips of him playing?
I have. His throwing motion is garbage.
His throwing motion is wild.
But they do stuff in flag
I
football
was
that
gonna
is
say.
that's pretty cool. Like
moving to avoid getting your flag taken is
Yeah.
very different from moving to avoid getting tackled. And this guy is fucking. Have you seen it, Ryan?
No.
He's.
you should check it out. However, I will say this too. And Lamar Jackson came out and said this, like, what makes y'all think that just because we don't play flag football now, we never play flag football in our lives?
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
He was like, this is what made me good. Like Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson's like, this is where have you ever seen that clip? Everybody's seen it. The clip of Lamar Jackson in high school avoiding that tackle at the goal line.
Yeah.
Where he is running full speed and just stops and puts his hands up and walks in. That's a flag football move. Like
Yeah.
Lamar is
Yeah.
he would be my first pick if we had to put NFL players on the flag team. I can't think of anyone I'd rather have than Lamar at QB.
Yeah. You'd have.
and Tyreek at receiver.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's over.
God. Just if anything else, just for the chance to watch the two of them play together.
Honestly, you know who else I'd put on there? No joke. Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. That actually might be a good future.
That's
for
where
him.
that's where you should probably be is flag football.
Go get you a gold medal, Kadarius. Watch me lose that shit to fucking Venezuela or something.
That would be pretty funny. People were jumping on that guy, and I was like, he does have some points in some ways, but I was like, come on, man.
In the end.
That's also why I fucking hate that nerd Noah Lyles. I fucking hate him.
I do not like Noah.
Have I ranted on the podcast about Noah Lyles?
No,
You're like,
please.
what are you calling yourselves world champions? I saw on his Wikipedia that he was homeschooled and it suddenly made much fucking sense.
It made perfect sense. He was homeschooled and he loves podcasts.
And then he said on the other day he didn't know who Nikola Jokic was.
Yeah.
It's a shit.
And then finally, like after all the shit that he's been talking, that's what made everybody get mad. Oh, that's not now y'all mad.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I can't.
No,
stand
I
it.
was already mad, to be clear.
Yeah.
I was like, more players from more countries are allowed to participate in the NBA than in the Olympics this year. Like Russia wasn't allowed for good reason, but I'm just saying. And I bet the fastest guy in Russia would be closer to beating Noah Lyles than a team of all non-NBA guys would be to beating the Celtics.
Right.
I mean, he'd still be within 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like Noah Lyles, this is the last part of my rant, I swear. He was like, everyone's freaking out over a 16-second clip of me. 16 seconds. And I was like, your whole race is less than 16
Yeah.
seconds. The whole thing you're whining we don't like enough lasts less than the 16 seconds.
Also, you lost the race, said you had COVID, and then went to the club.
And before the race was like doing all the like trying to like big up the crowd and it like clearly didn't seem like he was trying to conserve energy.
No.
Um,
Anyway, we could go on about Noah Lyles for days. But what we have to talk about, so the Cowboys fans don't get mad, is that they finally paid CeeDee Lamb.
Oh yeah.
They did. And Jamar Chase got a deal too? Or was just
No, he's just returned to practice.
Okay. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb.
They're gonna play in all orange jerseys.
Who, the
Oh, yeah.
Bengals?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see those all white jerseys too.
Yeah, the white Bengal jerseys are
Oh, did they
sick.
wear those last year?
They've worn them before.
Oh God, I feel like a
I
fool.
think. Well, maybe not all white.
Jersey.
See, what was the deal with CeeDee Lamb's deal? You guys were talking about it a little.
So he got 4 years, $136 million, which is, and then like a $38 million signing bonus, which I think the signing bonus is his thing that he can say is a record, like a record upon signing. But he comes pretty well short of Justin Jefferson's 4 year, $140 million. So Justin Jefferson is still the highest paid non-quarterback.
Right. But yeah, it's the guaranteed money that's like the big victory.
Yeah, the signing bonus.
One of you pointed out, it's like you got to have some, every one of these deals has to have some like, this is the biggest thing ever of this.
Truly, it's just so that they can kind of like hang their hat on it, even if it's kind of like manipulated a little bit.
Yeah. It's like every quarterback deal now is the biggest deal ever. And then you have to catch that slander that comes with it because it's like, other than a few of them, none of these guys have a case to be the highest paid player. Right now it's Jordan Love.
Right.
And, he's good, but he shouldn't be the highest paid player ever. But he's going to catch that until like Tua signs his deal or something.
Yeah. And there's so many different little, it's kind of propped up numbers a bit where, there's incentives where they'll count all of that as part of the contract to say, just so that they can say, especially it's also good for the agents, that they can say that they are now the highest paid player of all time. But really, if you kind of take a lot of the incentive stuff away or just the average per year, it's not always how it works out.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be an agent.
Yeah.
Let's all do it. Let's all go to agent school.
Do it?
It seems fucking easy.
When I played golf, this is gonna be such a weird name drop, but me and Josh played golf one time and wound up playing in with Lukumba Mute from the Clippers. I've told you this surely. And at the time he was, he's like retired, but he's still like 34, 35. And he was like, I might become an agent. And I was like, yeah, that seems like it'd be really cool. Have they? Oh yeah, that's what Ballers was Entourage, but with a sports agent, right?
Yeah.
TV writer Rashard Mendenhall.
Oh my God.
I thought it was Cadillac Williams. I always get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, let's get out of here, guys. What do you say we wrap it up?
Good luck on your drafts this week, everyone.
Yeah, good luck on your drafts.
And we'll have one more show before the season starts. We'll put our final thoughts on what's going to happen, predictions, tell you about our draft.
And we'll do some car locks.
We'll do our first car locks. Welcome back, car locks.
Gambling.
It's time to gamble, y'all.
Gambling.
Gonna win you all so much fucking money this year. You're gonna be so fucking grateful.
You're gonna be sick of winning.
You're gonna be sick of winning.
Wait, was that Trump or Charlie Sheen? I don't even know.
Winning.
And then, as we always say, it's time to turn the stove off.
Turn the stove off, baby.
We'll see you next week from the kitchen.
Burn myself.
Foosballs.